Hello everyone, my name is Sheila and I'll be taking you through the first part of Recitation 0A, where I'll be covering Python fundamentals. My colleague Urville will take you through the second part where he'll be focusing on OOP fundamentals. The objective of this recitation is to help you get familiar with some basics in Python, and it's outlined as shown here. I'm first going to cover data types, then conditional statements and loops, and finally I'm going to cover saving and loading of CSV files. For data types, Python has several built-in types and they're outlined here. I'm going to cover the first four in detail. And if you want to find more information about these data types or anything else, feel free to visit the Python official documentation. The first type I'm going to cover is numeric types, and I'll start with ints. So ints correspond to integers and they're generally not used while training models, since weights and biases have to be precise and not approximations. When you use ints, they're going to be approximations. So an example here is we have the float value 2.5. When you call int, it's going to cast it from a float to an integer, and it's going to truncate the decimal parts, hence the loss of precision. The third data type we're going to cover is float, and floats corresponds to floating point numbers, which can be of different precisions. Example, we have float 16, 32, 64 also. When you divide an integer with a float, the resulting number that you're going to get will be a float, and this is shown here. And you can also cast a float number from one precision type to another. I know you're yet to cover NumPy, but when you cover it, this is going to make more sense. Another operation that you can perform on floating point numbers is round. When you just call round on a floating point number, it's going to truncate the decimal part. Sorry, it's going to round off the decimal part. And you can also specify the number of decimal points to be rounded off. In this case here, this number is going to be rounded off to 2 decimal places, meaning we're going to be left with 7.35. Other operations that you can perform on floating point numbers is the floor and ceil operations. Floor rounds it down and ceil rounds it up. The next data type that we'll be covering are sequence types. And the first sequence type that I'll be covering is lists. So lists are immutable sequences and they're mostly used to store data of the same type, but they can as well store heterogeneous items. Heterogeneous items just means items of different data types, and this is shown in the second list. So this is how you construct lists. You use square brackets and then just put your values there. When you want to get an item in a list, you use indexing, and in Python lists are zero indexed. So in this case, you want to get for the fifth item, but now you're going to specify index 4. And from this list, the item at the fourth index is 5 because it's zero indexed. And in this other case, it will be A. I'm going to cover a range later on in the recitation, but what I wanted to demonstrate here is if you want to append two lists, you can just use the plus or the addition operation and it will do that. Another sequence type is tuples, and tuples are ordered and immutable, and this means new items can't be added to a tuple once you create it. And similar to lists, they can store duplicate values and you can still index them the same way. Something that I hadn't introduced in list is negative indexing, and the same thing can still be performed on list. So for negative indexing, we start counting from the right and the index now starts at 1. So in this case, we want to get the second item from the right in different items, and that will be 1, 2. So the item 3 will be returned. An important function that you might be using in most of your operations is range. So range is range is an iterator, and what this means is it's going to return a range of numbers. When you specify, you can specify the number of values you want. So in this case, I want to get the first 10 values, and remember it's zero indexed, so it starts from 0 all the way to 9. You can also specify the starting value, the end or the stop value, as well as the number of steps to take as shown here. And in this case, you want numbers from 0 to 12, and then we're going to skip one. We want to skip one and get the second item. So this is what this means. And the end or stop value is not included in this list. So this is what you'll get. And you can also reverse the direction using the negative operation, and this is what you'll finally get. Now we are done with sequence types, and I'm going to cover set types. So sets are immutable, and they store unordered and unindexed data. The main difference with sets and the other types that we covered is they cannot store duplicates. So in your assignment, if you want to get unique values in the list, you can just convert the list to a set, or whichever operation you have to a set. So an example here, set one, this is how you initialize a set, has these values, but then when you print it, only unique values will be displayed. The other data type that I'm going to cover is mapping type, and here I'm going to look at dictionaries. So dictionaries are used to store items in key value pairs, and the keys must be unique. So it cannot also store duplicates, and if you store duplicates, the last value that you added is going to override the previous one. There are different ways of constructing dictionaries, and here I have 3 examples. So here you just have the key and the value, and you can also specify keys and values in this way. An interesting function that you might want to look up in the documentation is zip. So for zip, you'll pass 2 iterators, and then it's going to merge them. And you can also use tuples, and then they'll be converted to dictionaries when you call the dict command. There are various operations that you can perform in dictionaries. One of them is getting an item. So you still use square brackets and then pass the key that you want to get. You can also use the built-in operation get and specify the key. And let's say you want to specify something that should be returned if the key is not found, you can just pass it as the second argument to the get function. Look into the documentation to better understand what all of these things mean. And another operation that can be done is saving a new item to a list. So you just use the square brackets to pass in your key and the corresponding value. So we are done with data types, and I'm going to cover conditional statements and loops. I'll start with conditional statements, and conditional statements enable you to perform specific actions based on a Boolean value that's returned from a condition that you pass. One way of implementing conditional statements is using if statements. You can also look at switch, but they're implemented differently from other languages in Python. So here we have 2 numbers, X and Y, and I want to print out different things based on a condition. So in this case, X is less than Y. So because of that, this is a condition that's going to run, and this is what you're going to output. And we are also going to cover loops, and loops will be very helpful when you need to iterate over a sequence of data. So a sequence can be a list, a tuple, a dictionary, a set, or even a range of numbers. You can use for loops to iterate through things, or even while loops. So to iterate through a sequence of numbers, you can use index and the index of the numbers, or you can just pass a variable that will denote each item in this list. So what I mean is for this loop, for n in numbers, it just means it's going to go through each items in this sequence and print them out. You can as well iterate through a range of numbers. So you just use the range function, and here we've passed 5, so it's going to iterate through numbers 0 to 4 and print them out. And here we've passed a starting number as well as an ending number, and it's going to iterate and still print them out. The other type of loop is while loop. And while loops, you use them to iterate through a statement as long as the condition is true. And when using while loop, ensure the condition will reach a point where it ends for the loop to stop running, or else you might run into an out of memory issue. So in this case, our condition is loop through this list as long as x is less than 10. And here we keep on incrementing the value of x for it to terminate at a point and then print out the value. And this is what is displayed. Finally, I'm going to cover saving and loading of data in CSV files. So the first thing is saving data to CSV. There are two ways of saving a data to a CSV file. You can use the default CSV package in Python, or you can also use pandas. So in this case, I have my fields and I have my values, and then I write them to a file. So this is the logic to perform that. This is what you're going to mostly use when submitting homework tools, where these are your fields and these are the values that are going to be populated in the rows. And we'll take this value, convert them into a data frame. You can go read more about pandas data frames from their documentation. And now once you have a data frame, you can save this to a file. The file will be called student2, and it's a CSV file. And we're going to set index to none. And something you should note is setting index to none is important before making a submission to Kaggle. You can go read the documentation of to CSV and see what this means. And normally for part 2, you'll be given a submission file, a sample submission file. So this is how you might read it to just see what the expected output is going to be. So I'm at the end of the recitation, and I hope this was useful to help you understand some basic things in Python.